Welcome to Innovating the Customer Experience. In the race to capture the hearts and minds of our customers, we are all trying to differentiate through innovation. We are coming up with process innovation, product innovations, attitude innovation. Let's talk about how do we innovate the customer experience, what are the paths to go there, and what did we learn from other companies who've actually took that path. For those of you who do not know, when we talk about customer experience at Relativity Group, this is not coming from conceptual ideas or some ideas that we cooked in an academic ivory tower, but rather they are based off 10 years and over 140 projects around the world, over 20 countries. In our work, we managed to touch over 200 million customers, over 300,000 employees. There's one way in which we define our work, which is execution. So everything I'll be sharing with you today was executed, was delivered at companies around the world, and we are sharing with you that expertise and that experience. Let's start with a journey. There are three ways of actually getting started. You can start at the level of awareness and expertise, which is if your organization do not have the expertise when it comes to customer experience, you're still in a learning focus on that. Build the understanding, make sure management is fully on board with understanding why customer experience, and then that you have built the experts that can help you go there. Some companies, based on their tolerance for change, might start with a specific program. They'll go after complaint reduction. They'll focus on one touch point, which can be the call centers, the customer service, the retail branch. It will take about 3 to 6 months, and they will focus on how to fix those problems. The rewards will be equivalent in the form of impacting on service cost. But there are those companies who go for the transformation. They understand that ultimately to delight a customer, they need to look at the complete journey and make sure that every touch point is being handled and differentiation is being built into their organization. Those projects usually take 9 to 12 months, but the focus is primarily on service and revenues and not only on cost. So with that, keep in mind, every company needs to find their tolerance to change, look back at what worked and what didn't work, what is your tolerance to change in your organization, and make sure that after building the awareness and expertise, you are focusing on the right type of program, transformation or a focused program. When it comes to customer experience, we need to follow a disciplined approach. We start at the defined level, where we collect all the customer expectations, all the customer complaints, and ask ourselves, is our value proposition that great? Are we exceptional? Are we performing above the parity line, or we are just right there with all our competitors? And you need to define a customer experience that will actually address the customer expectations and how to exceed them. You need to come up with a very clear blueprint. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. The next process after that will be the develop. You need to identify the touch points that will build the loyalty among your customers and ask yourself, how do you innovate them to be something above the parity line, above the basics, and something that will create a memorable experience. Then you look at the blueprint and the innovation that you did, and you ask yourself, do I have the organization that can deliver it? Do I have people who understand that? Do I have people who can connect to these customers? And then what do I need to do in order to develop that organization? Then comes the moment of truth, the delivery. How do we deliver? What are the tools that we are providing our people in order to deliver? How do we handle problems that needs to be handled as well? And next comes the measurement. You are what you measure. You measure productivity, you measure internal processes, you're going to get your numbers. You measure excitement of customers, and you get those aligned properly. So build the measurement program to make sure that it encompasses the goals and the differentiation that you want to achieve, and ultimately the redefine. Customer experience is not like wine, it doesn't get better with time. It's more like milk, you know. After 2 weeks, you need to come up with another one. Competition will come in, they will copy you, and you need to make sure that you stay relevant, you stay fresh, you stay exciting for your customers. So you need to build the governance model to make sure that the customer experience will not be treated as a one-time program, but as an ongoing refinement, ongoing reinvention, so the innovation process really never stops. Working with organizations around the world, we have seen them choosing one of two tracks. Some of them have focused on innovation of their retail branch and the physical attribute of their experience, the packaging of their products. We've seen others who are focusing on their employees. How do they change their attitudes? How do they create smiles every day? And the reality is that you need to have those two tracks work in tandem. Not only do you need reinvented experiences and products and services that are exceeding the customer expectations, but you also need your people to know how to create million smiles a day. And sometimes, by the way, the reinvention of the experiences might take longer, but you can actually start the engine of the employee's attitude and the employee engagement faster and create million smiles a day, even though your products are not there yet, or your processes are not there yet, or your tools are not there yet. So work on two of them in tandem, because understand it's not just what you deliver, which are the experiences, but how you deliver, which are your employees. And you need to make sure that your employees are authentic, are excited, are engaged, are ready to serve their customers. We start with the blueprint. We need to start at the level of the brand promise. You're making promises to your customers every day through advertising, through brochures, or your website. What is that promise? Then you need to work yourself and ask, what is the experience theme? How would the experience feel that it will deliver on the brand promise? In this example that I'm using, this is an imaginary bank that is telling the customers, you are in control. Well, how do you make a customer feel in control about their money, about their wealth, about their savings? How do you build an experience that will make them feel confident and unrushed and feel that they are in control? Because unrushed is absolutely an element of being in control. We take the brand promise, we translate it into an experience theme. Then we ask ourselves, what is our pledge to the customer? What exactly do we promise the customer? You need to take that high-level brand promise and convert it into very clear pledge that will translate that into actions. We'll keep you in control. We will not rush you in your sales. We will be measuring ourselves through your perspective, and so on and so forth. Then comes, as part of the design, the emotions. What is your deliberate emotion? What emotions do you want to evoke in the customer? When we are not conscientious about the emotions, we evoke wide variety of emotions. Here we need to be very clear. So if the customer needs to feel that they are in control, they need to feel relieved, they need to feel that they are making the right decisions. We need to be very deliberate about those emotions. So then we can go and guide the rest of the delivery of the experiences and tell people what to do. We can then design the experience delivery in the customer service, or in personalized offers, or in special activations, in lifestyle activities, and in communications. The blueprint starts with the brand promise, follow into the experience theme, follow into the customer pledge, design and determine the deliberate emotions that we want to be associated with, which will then evoke the memories we want to do, and then spec it. Because here's the interesting thing, you use a term like experience. If I'll go to 5 of your employees right now and ask them to go to Walmart or to another supermarket and ask them to buy me an experience, one will buy me chocolate, one will buy me a wine, one will buy me a champagne, another one will get me an ice cream, and probably the 5th one will try to save the money, because in this situation, saving is the best experience. Well, guess what? It's subject to interpretations. From our work with employees around the world, each and every one of them is saying, I'm delivering it already. It's just my version of it is different than your version. You need to make sure that everyone in the organization is unified around what is the experience theme, what is our pledge to the customer, what are the emotions, and then build delivery guidelines that specify in customer service, this is how you deliver it. In sales, this is how you deliver it. In marketing, this is how you deliver it. And spell out the pledge and the theme and the promise into operational guidance. This is what we need to do first in order to start the innovation process. When approaching the innovation of your customer experience, after building up the blueprint, we need now to understand what is the customer journey. What are the different touch points in which the customer interact with us, and how do we deliver in each and every one of them? What you'll find is, as many organizations do, you have dozens and dozens of ways to interact with customers through different forms, brochures, invoices, products, packaging, labels, and a whole host of other things. You need to map those and understand what are those touch points that are within your control. Then you need to look at the ecosystem that supports you, which are social media tools like YouTube, like Facebook, and a whole host of other websites that are dedicated to talking about your brand. How are they shaping the customer perspectives and expectations? But the first step that we need to do is understand, how do we touch the customers? What are the different ways in which we touch the customers, in order to understand how the customer look at us? We often look at ourselves from a very, very narrow perspective. I work in customer service, or I work in sales. We need to look at the complete journey and understand every step that the customer is going through in order to be able to design and innovate the customer experience.